you know, and so this idea of activating the walls. So again, you could bring elements of 3 into that quite well, right? And like it doesn't have to be.
This idea is tile. So this would use projection technology to follow a user through the tunnel to make them feel more welcome. As they enter, it'd be an entirely blue space. And as they leave, the tide kind of follows them out, allows there to be a more energy efficient method of illuminating the space, and also visual interest, invite people to visit the tunnel who haven't been there before.
I love how you combined light with art and safety.
Actually, I wrote down safety meets art.
The experience as a whole, so there's a lot of factors that make it a very holistic approach.
You might actually want to illuminate ahead of them as well as behind them at some
How could lighting encourage the interaction of strangers in public spaces? Amazing feature of what you can learn from people that you don't know. So my first idea was like a wayfinding system for a library. So the lighting would sense that you're in a particular subject area. It would guide you with a pathway, and the pathway would lead you to like a similar subject field but in a different discipline. Especially in library spaces, I think that's really important because there are so many people working on completely different things, and you're a table apart from someone and you have no idea what they're working about, but there's like a shared energy.
I really liked your observation of studying people gravitating towards sunlight, because you see it happen everywhere and the human behavior changing the second it's a beautiful day outside and everyone's just looking for that slither of sun.
I think it's interesting that you want to challenge people, right? You're not afraid to challenge what people do, how they behave in a space, and I think that's quite aspirational actually. Very hard to do because you never know how people will react to things, right? You know, if the lights go out, are they going to get freaked out, or you know? But I think that overall, I think that's what you're doing. You're aspiring to something. You're aspiring to shake things up.
The room looks like this. It's shaped like a lemon.
It's very poetic, like the whole project. I think all 3 work well together actually. I couldn't decide which one because it's all one system. And I work a lot in well-being design and wellness, especially in these current days where we're so tech-driven. It's very grounding. My grandmother would work with the lunar calendar when you cut your hair, and when you bring the whole universe into the equation is something very contemporary now.
Trying to imitate natural light in the interior, so you would stop having the difference between going from outside to inside. So it's a very natural experience of going from in to out. The colour of the car was a big detail that people brought up so that you weren't buying something who looked completely different outside to inside.
I like that you've thought of the environment for the sellers, for the buyers, and the actual experience of the showroom itself.
This is literally this immersive experience you mentioned, which is happening 1 week per year in Milan, can actually happen in a showroom and turns into a spectacle beyond just the product.
This is the final render I have, and I below symmetrical. And I envisioned it having like a matte bronze or brass finish fixture for the lampshades. The U-shaped soundproofing with like muted tones, more like warm.
There's a really interesting study that NASA did into getting people from the Earth to Mars and which plant they should have around them in order to get oxygen in the day and oxygen at night and clean carbon dioxide. Have a look at it because it's super interesting. All of the plants that they chose in the end that work in the day and some work in the night were house plants that you see all over the world.
I really like the idea of incorporating that and the biophilic aspect of bringing the nature into an office environment. It's a really good narrative, and also it's the future I think that we should be working towards.
The combination of moss and mycelium, I don't think I've seen that, and I think that's really quite compelling.
Yeah.
Getting people back to the office is hard. This is about creating a space that people want to come back to, they want to spend time in, that they want to collaborate with. Your research, your context that you did at the start was phenomenal.
Zumtobel is also looking into the future also in terms of office. The mix in the idea to have the right light, the right material, but also the needed different spaces in terms of what I'm doing in this moment. Creating some new concept, or I'm probably be in a Teams or whatever meeting, then I can push it down, have my own space, creating my space, needed light, reducing the acoustic. Honestly, I've never seen it before.
movement of air.
And be out of your comfort zone without power, it will bring you together, right? And just that whole psychological